This is Liberty and Freedom with Harper and Brian. I am Brian Bledsoe. Unfortunately, Harper won't be joining us tonight, but we're still going to keep moving forward, and we're very glad to have Don Huffines on with us. And so just wanted to start off in the beginning and just wanted to mention a couple of things just in case I forget it at the end here, is that for one, in Texas, we have a constitutional election coming up, and this November, well, next week. And so, if people haven't already looked up those constitutional amendments and everything, so check that out, and you know, go to your nearest polling location. You can find that pretty easily as far as where to go, and also the amendments as well. So, also wanted to mention that our state director, Rakita Harper, won Leader of the Year at our Blexit Leadership Conference a couple of weeks ago. So just wanted to mention that, and that we here in Blexit, Texas, are continuing to grow, and just looking to do more and do things kind of like what we're doing tonight as far as interviewing different candidates for governor of Texas. And so first off, want to bring in businessman and former Texas State Senator Don Huffines with us. How you doing, sir?
Doing great, Brian. Doing well.
So, as I said before, we here at Blexit, Texas, we are trying to bring in candidates from all sides, and wanted to ask them questions on the issues, and as far as helping out the Black community and what they can do for the state of Texas. So first off, for people that are unfamiliar, so I guess give a brief introduction of yourself.
Sure. I'm a fifth generation Texan. I was born in Dallas and grew up in the Metroplex area. I went to UT in Austin for college, graduated there in 81. I do real estate development. I just love real estate. I started my company in 85. I've been married to my beautiful, perfect wife, married Catherine, for 34 years. And we have 5 children, 4 boys and a girl. And we homeschooled them through their schooling career. And all 4 boys are Eagle Scouts. That we were active in the scouting program and through their career. And I'm a new grandfather. I've got 3 times over, and got one due any day now. Another one before, number 4. And political bio, it's let's see. I've been active in the Republican Party all my life. I've just, as a teenager, had this burning in me for liberty and freedom. And so I've always had that. And I've been a delegate to many Republican state conventions over 25 years. And I ran for office in 14. So I was in the Texas Senate from 14 to 18. There's only 31 senators in Texas. And so I was in the swamp in Austin. I got a PhD in the swamp from 14 to 18.
All right. And so what is your motivation to run for governor?
Liberty and freedom. And I think I'm just like everybody else, not everyone, but most of the Republican voters in Texas. We're tired of being lied to. We're tired of all the lies and empty and broken promises and all these career politicians just only in office, mainly in office, just to further their career. That's what they're about. They don't have any courage. There's no courage out there. And we're tired of the lies, broken, empty promises. And I just point to the fact that ask everybody, is the border secure? No. Is the property taxes going down? No. Do you have confidence in the election that your vote's being counted? Of course, no. My opponent is 30 years a career politician. He's never signed a paycheck in his life. I've been creating thousands of jobs, and just as a business guy, I got a different way of seeing everything, Brian. I want to solve the issues that affect Texas, and I've got the courage to implement the solutions, and we've got the solutions. I'm just not worried about my political career because I'm not a politician. Hey, let me tell you something. I forgot to tell you. When I was in Austin for 4 years, according to the Secretary of the Senate, I'm the only elected office holder in the history of the state of Texas. We got a long history that never took any money from the government. No pay, no pension, no health care, no travel vouchers, no reimbursements, nothing. I didn't even use their office furniture because the government didn't hire me. The people hired me. And I'm going to do the same thing as governor. I'm not looking for a new career. I already got a good one.
So you mentioned as far as homeschooling, and one thing we here at Blexa, Texas, our advocates is school choice.
Yes,
And
sir.
by you mentioning that, as governor, how would you enable more school choice?
It's my favorite thing, one of my favorite things to work on. And when I was in the Texas Senate, I authored most of the bills in the Senate for school choice. I like to call it now education freedom, or we could call it parental choice. I think it has a better name for it. I'll do everything I can for school choice. And this should be a nonpartisan issue. I mean, look, if you got money and you're rich, you can move zip codes, you can go to the good school districts, or you can go to private school. But this is mainly about those that don't have that choice, either one of those. It's about working what's best for the student, or what's best for the parents and that kid. And that money should follow that student. Wherever the student goes, they pay, that's Texas taxpayer money. And this particularly benefits kids with disabilities, learning difficulties, things like that aren't getting taken care of in their public schools. I'll do everything I can to. I'm a real champion. I'm a business guy. And I'll tell you this, competition always lowers the price and increases the quality of everything it touches, and particularly our government monopolies. We need education freedom.
Yeah, and also you mentioned the border. I know. Well, I guess it's something I want to ask you as well. Is as governor, how would you address the border differently than the current administration?
Well, I'm going to fix it. I'm going to secure it. The federal government's never going to get it done. They never have, and they never will. The only chance we have, Brian, of securing that border is if a courageous governor of Texas. I'm never asking permission from the federal government to secure the Texas border. It's not necessary. It's just not. We have, I'm going to use Article 1, Section 10 of the United States Constitution, which clearly gives states the authority to do what they need to do to secure the border. We're being invaded. I've been to the border 3 times now and since May, and I was on the committee for border security. And so I know what's going on. Right now, Border Patrol saying 1.5 million illegals are going to come into Texas in a 12-month period. This is an invasion. So I'm using all the Texas military, all over 20,000, and we're going to secure that river and immediately deport anyone that gets across back to the other side. This is an invasion. There's 25 bridges over that river. I'm going to stop all inbound commercial traffic from Mexico. This is strategic to make sure Mexico feels the economic pain until they secure their side of the river and take it back from the cartels. I'm going to get done in 30 days, which no one's ever been able to do because I'm the actual Republican that's going to actually do something.
All right. So one tenet of our mission statement is entrepreneurship. And as a businessman yourself, and I'm pretty sure you know a lot about being an entrepreneur. Now, so as governor, how would you enable entrepreneurship in the state of Texas?
Well, the main thing is to remove the barriers to entry for many occupations. Most people don't realize that Texas is has some of the most restrictive licensing requirements for most jobs. Over 50% of the occupations in Texas you have to have a license for, and most of these are totally unnecessary. There's some that a lot of them can be dropped down to just a certification, and so a lot of young people now don't see don't want to go through the struggle of being, for instance, a plumbing license and have to be a master plumber. I think the average age for a master plumber in Texas now is like 58 years old. You have to have 3,000 classroom hours. I mean, just silly rules and regulations. And I saw it when I was there in Austin that a lot of lobbyists and occupations, they go down to Austin to legislate away their competition. So I want to lower all the barriers to entry we have for people entering the workforce.
And this is a question from Harper, and asking what's the most valuable thing you've learned as a business owner?
I say to have confidence. It's so important. No matter how much you get knocked down, or how many times you feel defeated, don't just change your thoughts, change your opinion. When your feet hit the floor every morning, you got to be pumped up. You got to be ready to get after it, and never feel like a victim. Never, because you're not. You're only what you think. And so think positive, great thoughts, be happy and joyful, and do what you love. Do what you really love. And remember, you can ruin a lifetime of reputation in 5 minutes. So always be ethical, honest in everything you do, and always tell the complete truth and take care of your customer.
The one thing you mentioned as far as like the median age of plumbers being 58, and I know one thing that I remember as far as even someone that wanted to open like a beauty salon had to go through so much regulations just to open up, or just have to pay all these different fees and everything. I I just want to ask to go a little bit further into that in particular, because I know that can be such a hindrance of people who are wanting to be an entrepreneur. Like how much regulation someone has to go through to just open a business.
Well, most of is totally unnecessary. And as your governor and the Huffines administration, I'm going to eliminate it. Uh, there's a lot. Unfortunately, Texas doesn't have as much as others, and we have more than others in a lot of areas. I mean, you remember hair braiding was a big issue. You had to have a lot.
Mhm.
Now you have to have a license, all kinds of license to be a barber, to cut hair. You even have to have a license to be an auctioneer. You have to have a license to do about anything in the state of Texas, and that is totally unnecessary. I'm for a free market, a total free market. And I tell you what, stopping illegal immigration is going to be huge to the folks entering our workforce, because it's really hard to get fair wages if you got people pouring over the border. They're willing to do it for half the price. They're not even supposed to be here. And so that's going to be a big part of what we do to get fair wages. For instance, if you wanted to go, which is a great job, is to work in building residential housing and houses, to be a framer or a bricklayer or a plumber or an electrician. Well, a lot of illegals are coming in and doing that for $7 an hour, and the real wages should probably be more like $20 or $25 an hour.
Wow. Now, another issue that we definitely advocate for is criminal justice reform, and I guess just what is your stance on that matter?
I'm a champion of criminal justice reform and always have been. When I was in the legislature, I worked hard, for instance, to get rid of red light cameras. I thought they were just an insult to our liberty, and we finally got that done. We'll continue to work on civil asset forfeiture rules and regulations to make sure we rein that in. And I'm going to continue to work on a lot of criminal justice reform issues.
Now, that's something we've mentioned before on the live stream, is civil asset forfeiture. For people that don't know that because I talked about it and I probably didn't do a good job as far as explaining it, but I know that is a big issue, at least for me, I think. And so, if people that don't know, what is civil asset forfeiture?
That means when the police stop you for any reason, they can take your stuff. And you don't have to be convicted of a crime. They can take your watch, they can take your cash, your money, and just accuse you of a crime. They don't even have to do that sometimes. And so it's ripe with fraud, and it's ripe with abuse. And we need to rein it in. I mean, I could go for it maybe if it was criminal conviction asset forfeiture, if you got convicted for a crime. But the problem is most people don't have the resources to hire an attorney to get their stuff back. I mean, they confiscate your car, your money, and then you've got to hire an attorney to try to get your stuff back that shouldn't have ever been confiscated in the first place. And if you don't show up in court in so many days, that the government owns it and keeps it.
Yeah, like I said, that's something we've mentioned before on that issue. And
This is
another question.
Yes, sir.
Oh, go ahead.
You say criminal asset forfeiture is a miscarriage of justice. It's a bad thing, and we need to stop it. And Texas shouldn't have it. And I'll do my best to stop it.
And so another question Harper had is uh, what is your legislative priority would be as governor?
Well, I'm running on three things, Brian, and I can tell you the border's number one. We got to make sure we get that border under control because this is an invasion. Do you know that, hey, Brian, do you know that the Border Patrol told me they've caught illegals since the beginning of the year from 150 different countries? I
Wow.
mean, it's like we might as well give an award for every country that didn't send somebody over here around the world. I mean, this is
Wow.
crazy. I mean, Afghans, Pakistanians, Chinese. I mean, it's everywhere. So this is an invasion. We got to get that done. And also in our school districts. Most people in Texas don't realize there's probably approximately 500,000 illegals in our public schools, our government schools. They're not even supposed to be here. That's costing Texas taxpayers billions, probably about $5 to $6 billion annually. Most of them don't speak English, plus all the facilities costs. I mean, we're going to save a ton of money under a Huffines administration. But my second thing is property taxes. I'm going to get rid of property taxes once and for all. This is doable. I know it sounds like it's just political rhetoric, but I'm going to make it happen. It's my number one legislative priority, not my number one thing I'm going to do, but it's my number one thing I'm going to get out of the legislature is phase it out over 8 years. We're never going to have an income tax, and everybody's going to get a chance to vote on it.
Yeah, I know I saw that on your website as well as a lot of what you've mentioned so far. And I'm even going back to entrepreneurship. Property taxes is another hindrance that is a part of that. And so, matter of fact, on that particular issue on ending property taxes, I mean, could go a little bit further on that. I'm pretty sure that's something people would definitely want to hear more of.
Well, I think Texans are just tired of renting their houses and all their real estate from the government. And I set the table by saying this. Most people don't really understand the fact that the government really owns all the real estate there is. They own your home, they own your business, they own the ranch, your farm, your land, your lot, because they have a tax on it. And it gets the first lien and the tax can go up. You don't have a lease or anything. The tax just goes up. And in a high inflation environment, it's really going to go up. Do you know that in most metropolitan areas, major like Dallas, Houston, Austin, that the property tax represents about half of the mortgage payment on your home? And our numbers show that it represents about $200 a month in your apartment rent. So if we get rid of property tax, you can get a twice a bigger home. And you can also then have more of a chance of affording your first home because you qualify for the mortgage, of course, by how much the property tax is in the mortgage payment. So if there's no property tax, you can qualify for a home a lot easier.
Okay. All right. So of all the interviews we've done over the past couple of months, I always want to end on this last question. It's just so much. It's a very topical question. Is the whole idea of the pandemic? It's been going on for over almost 2 years now, and I asked everyone the same question: how will your administration handle the pandemic better or worse, or however you think that you will handle it than the current one?
Well, thank you for that question. It's the catalyst that made me get into the race, really. I never would have closed Texas down. I never would have required anyone to wear a mask. I wouldn't have. My opponent, Abbott, destroyed 3 million jobs in one day. He put 3 million Texans on unemployment and tens of thousands of businesses were gone. He closed our churches. This was a disaster. It's a disaster. And the Huffines administration, the lens I look through to govern is always one of your liberty. I'm here to protect your liberty, your birthright. You're born with the fundamental role of government is always to defend your God-given liberties. And I'm going to make sure that I do that. I will never let the government require a vaccine for any reason. No one will ever have to take a vaccine they don't want to take under Huffines administration, nor wear a mask. You'll never have to wear a face diaper again.
All right. So, Don Huffines, thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate you coming on. And I guess if people want to know more about your campaign, or where would it go?
Well, I tell you this, under a Huffines administration, it's not just a new chapter in Texas history, it's a new book. Our greatest days are yet to dawn. This is our time. Go to donhuffines.com. That's Huffines, donhuffines.com. And you can see where I stand on all the issues. I'm going to get our swagger back in Texas. I'm going to prove to the whole world what it means for Texas to be sovereign. So join me in this ideas, this revolution of ideas. Thank you. Thank you, Brian.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. God bless you. God bless Texas.
All right. All right. So again, thanks to Don Huffines for joining us. And just as I mentioned in the beginning, that Harper was not able to join us. Just to expand on that a little more, I guess to put a little more time on it, is that Harper is moving out of state, so she won't be back on here. Now she did send a couple things to say, other than so she, like I said, she sent in her questions for the interview, but yeah, so I honestly don't know over the next couple of months, for November and December, given that it's the end of the year. I don't know. We may be back in November in particular. I'm almost about 90% sure we probably won't have a live stream for December, mainly just because it'll be the last Sunday is, I forgot what day, but that's like right in the middle of between Christmas and New Year's. And so, I mean, even tonight, the fact that we are doing a live stream on Halloween, um, uh, I guess, a lot of people out there trick or treating and whatnot. Personally, for me, I see Happy Reformation Day just for me personally. But also, I know people are definitely out for Halloween. I think, given that it's on a Sunday, I saw a lot of people, at least on social media, was on, having most of the stuff was done yesterday on Saturday. But still, so doing this on Halloween, when around the time that's probably where kids are probably, um, you know, parents out there with the kids and getting candy and whatnot. So, but I appreciate everyone that has been watching us tonight. And again, like I said, we don't know exactly if we'll have a stream in the next month or two. But also just wanted to say, I don't know if Hopper will get a chance to hear this later on. I just appreciate her being on all this time, and wish her all the best. Well, she moved to Iowa, so just let people know. But so all the best to her and what she's doing. And in the I said in the beginning of the year, we'll probably have more details as far as what we're going to do with this stream and how we're going to move forward. But again, as I mentioned in the beginning about the constitutional amendments, want people to make sure to look that up here in Texas, to make your voice known. And because it's something I can't imagine that's probably going to be a very low turnout. Unfortunately, I mean, these amendments are basically going to be law in our Constitution in Texas. But I almost forgot it myself, to be honest. I was in town. I mean, I was there during early voting, and I almost forgot. I pretty much had to turn my truck around and go back to vote because I was almost out of town before that time. But yeah, so again, so look that up and look up all the amendments. I probably would have gone through all of them if it was just me all for this whole episode. But then again, who knows how compelling that would be. But But for just also before I forget, I don't want because I want to make sure I put this in here as well. Is that yeah, well, I know at the end of each of these episodes, me and Harper talk about what we're doing, and so just want to say, I guess for the last time, for Harper in particular, to follow her personal podcast, Standing Her Ground. So check that out, and on you know, wherever you get podcasts. So and yeah, she's also said, thanks to the Blexit family and everything for this opportunity. So now that so far we have interviewed 3 candidates for governor. I am asking everyone that is listening, that is going to listen to this, to let me know because of anyone else running for governor. Now, I will say I haven't heard anyone on the Democrat side, and I haven't heard any other third party, libertarian or Constitution or Green Party. I don't know how many are going to run, but we are open, to everyone that is running, and we are going to, extend the invitation to all candidates. And so we haven't found any more. So as of right now, we don't have one for November. Now, if in the next couple of weeks or so, someone announces that they're going to run, and they accept the invitation. Also, I guess let me also mention this too. We have extended a invitation for Governor Abbott. We haven't heard back. So so we have already asked his media people, and so just to let you know, we just haven't heard back. And so, like I said, we're going to extend the invitation to everyone else. So we'll see where that goes. Maybe getting close to the primary, probably next, January, February, maybe. We may get something in between. Who knows? We may have to do more just to get everyone in. Who knows? So yeah, I appreciate everyone that has been watching tonight. And I don't know if you're watching in the midst of trick or treating. I don't know if you're at somebody's house and people are hearing my voice while you're standing at someone's door. I don't know, but wherever you're at, we appreciate you. And until next month, for sure, I don't know. Like I said, we'll find out. But until next time, let me just put it that way. Until next time, we'll see you later here on Liberty and Freedom.